Nice.
Yeah.
Woo. Welcome to Guitar Power. My name is Alan Johannes, and I'm very excited to be joined by Browan Lollar of St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
Yeah, hey.
When did you start playing guitar, and what was it about soul music that got you going?
I mean, I started playing when I was 4 or 5.
Wow.
I was really young. I mean, there was a bunch of musicians in my family, so there were always instruments sitting around. I started on banjo and mandolin.
Wow.
It's the reason I don't use a pick still.
Right. What was one of the first things you remember learning on a...
There was a lot of gospel, a lot
Right.
of bluegrass. I was born in eastern Tennessee. My dad was a minister.
Right.
So, you know, I wasn't really able to listen to much like blues or rock music, even though I really wanted to. And then parents got divorced, and I moved to Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I got into soul music.
Right.
Which was, I mean, also at an early age. I mean, I was 10 or 11 when we
Wow,
moved there.
so young. So when you were a kid walking into Muscle Shoals and seeing, what were they playing? What was the vibe?
Mustang Sally like 5 times a night, you know, and Land of a Thousand Dances or some Aretha Franklin thing, or you know, Paul Simon music or something like that. That I didn't realize at the time that these were the musicians that had backed up these artists on these songs, but they were covering themselves. I just thought they were great cover bands. It wasn't until I got a little older and started working in the studios and started hanging out with these guys and talking to them that I realized that they played on these records.
Right.
But because I was ignorant, I thought every town had all these amazing musicians. Like,
Right.
and I just thought that was the way it was. I thought you have to be this good to play in a bar. You know?
Can you give me an example of one of the first things you remember, like learning, like on the guitar?
I took to Mark Knopfler.
Oh yeah.
Really, really hard. Like I learned like, you know, like that was one of the first things I like sat down and learned.
Right.
And then I like learned the whole solo note for note, like I think a lot of people do. And that led me down to like Chet Atkins and that kind of stuff.
Right. Always using your fingers, though?
Always using my fingers.
Did you
like,
have a pick tucked in there as well? Or just toe free?
You know, the pick came later. I started working at Fame in Muscle Shoals a little bit here and there. And they were like, you got to learn how to play with a pick. You know? and so I finally got into it. But now it's still like, that's my comfort zone. Like, I like playing... Like I just, if I don't feel the string, I don't feel at home.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't feel like I know where I'm going. Like I feel disconnected somehow.
And did any of the banjo stuff translate to the guitar? Like,
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, like I still use like the triplets. Like.
Can we hear some?
Especially with St. Paul, there's a ton of double stops because I feel like I'm always trying to make like soul stew, and that's a real easy way to like, you know, something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You start to almost look at the guitar as if it was more like a piano in a way, right?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, Steve Cropper is one of my favorite guitar players ever, because he's one of those guys that doesn't play if he doesn't need to.
Right.
He was very melodic, like, and almost like cat and heat, like tone.
Right.
So he'll do this thing, and this soft ballad, right? And it's like, I'm in love, a little too long, and I'm like, it's like this.
That's amazing.
You know, and then he also had this part where it goes. Right here.
Whoa.
Like, where did that come from?
I know.
You know, like it's the.
Well, it's that use of the space. It's just suddenly coming out of nowhere.
And he's almost playing horn parts. I listen to these guys, and they're so creative with the way they're approaching the instrument. They're not approaching it with like, this is in the box. This is, you know. You know, they're not doing that. They're like they're playing from here. They're not playing with muscle memory.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
And I love the way that you can do that when you like really step away and you're like, okay, what does this song really need? Even if it doesn't need anything.
Right.
You know, I feel like Nels Cline is a guy who does that too.
It's also like you. It's a kinetic like connection to the guitar. You know
yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
You know.
And I noticed he was doing all this stuff like all those really fast like. I can't even do it, but like his shoulder was like doing this.
Yeah.
It was insane. And he looked like he was having convulsions on stage, you know, and it was amazing. It was one of the best things I've seen in a long time.
So you guys making a new record soon?
Yep.
Yeah. And any kind of different direction?
Going a couple of different directions. I mean, we're all big Al Green fans. We've got this one song that's sort of like a Al Green vibe, you know.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, you know, Paul is a big D'Angelo fan, so I wouldn't be surprised to hear some D'Angelo-y type stuff. And we're a big band. We've got 3 horns and an organ player, and you know, bass and drums and a singer. So, but we still try to write songs. Our whole goal is to write songs that you can enjoy with one guy, one instrument, and a singer. You know, like we try to like break it down. I mean, that's a good song when you can enjoy it even without a melody.
Absolutely.
Like if you can enjoy it on paper.
Right.
You know, that's a good song.
Just the guitar part, or just the, you know, acoustic or voice.
Yeah.
You know, you can hear the whole thing.
That's the trick, I think.
It was about the song.
Yeah.
And also so much more like this constant interaction between the chemistry of people in the band, and then also playing so much, playing live all the time.
Yeah.
You guys tour a lot, right?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. We did like 250 shows in 2014.
Any other songs from the St. Paul records, Broken Bones records, really evolved live from the original studio recordings?
Yeah, there's one of them called Like a Mighty River that's changed a lot. And I mean, on the record we had like hand claps and stomps and like all this like prepared piano and stuff. So we obviously couldn't do that live, but it just kind of rocks out more. Song, and I started kind of doing trying to do more of a Keith Richards type.
Awesome.
On the record, I just like, I don't even think I had anything written.
Right.
I just played something.
But now this is obviously you're reacting to the energy and just kind of getting in there.
Yeah.
The cool
The
kind of Keithisms.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to open for the Stones a while back.
That's amazing.
And I got to shake Keith's hand and tell him thanks. And that's the thing, like you do something like that, and I didn't even think about the fact that that's Keith Richards. You know, that it's just such in the lexicon of like in the air because of what he did and all he's done in his career.
Because you get inspired and influenced by something, and then it totally becomes a part of you. You internalize it, you play it, you do it your own way, and then it kind of, or from there you take off to something else.
Right,
you know?
right. You don't even realize you're necessarily doing it like that. You're playing what comes naturally to you.
Yeah. Do a little jam on the way out.
Yeah.
There it is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Browan, for being here. It was a real
It was a
pleasure.
blast. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
This is Alan Johannes, and this is Guitar Power.